Welcome to worship with the Unitarian Universalist Community of Charlotte. I'm Eve Stevens. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm one of the ministers of this community. If you are new to our congregation, a special welcome to you this morning. We'd love the chance to get better connected, as well as help you figure out more about what we have to offer. When the time feels right, I encourage you to reach out to our membership coordinator, Kelly Green. Her email is kelly@uuccharlotte.org. Kelly can connect you with a minister for more conversation, or help you figure out what classes or social events or small group experiences you want to explore. Those of you who entered the sanctuary in person this morning, on your way in, you were invited to pick up an object from a basket marked playthings. If you are joining us from home or watching this service at a later date, I encourage you to find a small plaything from your surroundings. It might be Play-Doh, or a magnet, a ball, a fidget spinner, whatever you can find, something you can take some small delight in. Kids and adults alike have found that crocheting, squeezing a stress ball, clicking a pen, playing with silly putty while listening or talking helps them channel anxiety out of their body, or simply allows them to connect more deeply to what's happening in the here and now. Exploring an object, the tactile, physical weight of something in our hands, can allow us to feel more present and more connected. When our Catholic neighbors hold a rosary and press each bead between their fingers as they pray, the rosary serves as a physical connection point between their body and the divine. When our Buddhist neighbors hold mala beads, each one brings them back again and again to the present moment, to the intention they are sitting and breathing with. Whether you just hold it, or put it in your pocket the whole time, or play with it constantly, we hope that whatever object you're holding helps connect you again and again throughout the service with curiosity, delight, and the spiritual practice of play. Welcome. I am going to say something now that I don't say very often in this space. If you have a smartphone with you, would you please take it out and find your way to our public Facebook page. So if you do not have our page pinned or saved, you can search for it, typing in Unitarian Universalist Community of Charlotte will take you most of the morning, so that's why we're starting now. You're looking for today's welcome post. It'll have today's date on it. Now, I imagine, are there some of you who either don't have your phone with you or are thinking, I am not going to be able to find my way to our public Facebook page? If that is you, I want to bring you a pen and paper to participate in what we're about to do. So raise your hand if you would like a pen and paper. Anybody? Good, very good. Make sure. All right, here's the deal. We are going to put some silly questions up on the screen, and you are going to respond either on our Facebook page or you can write down your answer. We're going to have 3 questions. So what I advise, if you're posting on our public Facebook page, put a 1 before question 1, put a 2 before question 2. You get the idea. So later in the service, we're going to share some of our answers with each other here in the room, even if you aren't participating on Facebook. So do not worry. If you're pen and paper, you will have your day in the sun. So our first question, we're going to warm up with some trivia. A horned toad is what kind of animal? You have about 15 seconds. Okay, because if you don't know after about 15 seconds, you probably don't know. That's okay. Okay, now we're going to be a little silly with question number 2. So I am asking you, what does rock stand for? R-O-C-K. And here's a hint. It's not knowledge you could have arrived with. You've got to make it up. My example, rodents operating colorful kites. That is what R-O-C-K stands for. You're going to have a little longer with this one. Write down your made-up acronym. And finally, for me, this is a tougher one. What do the following two phrases have in common? What do they have in common? Never odd or even, and draw, O coward. What did... Very good. I'm seeing your comments already. Lloyd Dillon, great pun already. Thank you at home. Keep them coming. So I am going to ask that you would be so kind now to put your smartphone back out of sight. We are turning things over to our own John Herrick and Jen McLeod for a game we're calling Name That Opening Song.
All right, so here's how it works, contestants. I'm gonna play a little bit of a song. If you think you know the name, raise your hand, and either Kurt or Eve will come around. If you're online back there, we ask you to go to our Facebook page. If you're already there, that's great. And just write your answer into the welcome post comments. So once we've named it correctly, we'll get to sing, or Jen will sing a verse. We'll ask you to hum along. If you're online, we ask you to sing out loud and proud. Hint, not all of these songs come from our hymn books. Song number 1.
What's that song?
Oh, we give thanks.
Oh, we did that.
Negatory.
Yeah.
Nice try.
Yeah. All these choir members.
Tom?
I see you, Tom.
Okay, take 2. Oh, we have another one?
I'll wait.
Okay.
Okay, take 2.
Tom?
Sure.
Sarah?
We're building a new way.
Yay! Hey, Jen.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. Good job.
All right, song number 2. All right, take 2.
Love me do.
Go, Liz. Love me do. You know I love you. I'll always be true. So please, love me do. Oh, love me do.
You are so good. Okay, song 3. Take 2. Oh. Silly.
come with me to this land?
Oh!
Come and go with me. Yay! Let's see.
Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound.
Thank you.
Well played, well played.
Let us pray. Lord, above us all, with everything we do, help us to remember to keep things playful and light.
Please rise in body and or spirit. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Every day, I sit in an office with a window that looks out onto a playground. That playground is filled most hours with rambunctious, imaginative, noisy, adorable, energetic, active children. While I sit hard at work, they are always hard at play. And one of the things that I can see from where I sit is a collection of various metal baking pans that is bolted to the fence, accompanied by a spatula on a string and an ice cream scoop on a string. And without fail, at some point in the course of a day, one kid will sidle up next to the muffin tin and start banging away with a stick, or if I'm lucky, with the ice cream scoop. Then someone else joins in on the cake pan, and on before you know it, an impromptu rhythm section is having a heck of a good time together, playing music that few of us have the capacity to appreciate fully. And lately, I've noticed another popular group activity. Each child gets a push broom or a rake 3 times taller than they are and starts pushing leaves around, not so much into piles or to clear anything, From the looks of it, they push leaves around to push leaves around, to hear the crinkly sounds they make and watch with delight as they fly off in all directions with each forceful push of the broom. These kids jump off of picnic tables, make up games involving different ways to go down the slide, kick basketballs around in a circle for a game I still haven't quite figured out. They laugh and yell, laugh and cry and laugh. Each day is a raucous, chaotic, joyful, turbulent, spontaneous exchange of energy. The other day, a couple who lives a few houses down from my family showed up on our doorstep. They had brought a large box. They had ordered an outdoor grill online and wanted to see if I wanted the box that it came in. I didn't particularly want this huge empty box, a real pain in the tail to recycle, and not a great match with my couch. But then it dawned on me that my 4-year-old and my toddler decidedly would want that box. I unceremoniously dumped it in the living room. And when Ethan and Henry came home and saw that box, the way they congratulated me on my brilliance preserving this stellar gem of a box, how they jumped and squealed with delight. An uninformed onlooker might have thought that I had just won the Nobel Peace Prize or the Great British Bake Off. They climbed inside and giggled in the inner box gloom. Then they cut holes in the top to serve as stars. Before long, it could float, it could fly. Then it was a cave where a gorilla and an elephant had taken up residence together. They went on to run a series of experiments with the box. They tried to use it as a bridge between the couch and the kitchen counter. Of course, they discovered it couldn't bear their weight, and it crumpled, and down they went. If they were discouraged, I couldn't tell. Somehow they didn't seem to take it as failure at all. They didn't berate themselves for poor planning or insufficient forethought. They didn't spend the rest of the afternoon fixating on what an unproductive waste of time that venture had been, chastising themselves to be more responsible, to know better next time. As maybe we, do when something we attempt does not go according to plan. When they discovered that their bridge crumpled under their weight, they went back inside to punch it into shape, and it became a dilapidated boat instead. In my house, we sometimes watch a show all together called Alien TV. As the Netflix synopsis explains, in each episode, Igsby, Pigsby, and Squee are alien journalists who travel to Earth, where they attempt to make sense of humans and their hobbies. In one episode, the aliens see a picture of a set of dentures on a bedside table and try to figure out what in the heck humans use these strange contraptions for. They eventually conclude that dentures are to be kept close while you sleep and lovingly tuck a set under each of their pillows at night. After turning in their notes on all that they've observed humans doing with their teeth to their editor, an alien news anchor translates their reporting into a public interest story for an intergalactic audience. In tonight's story, human teeth and the magical fairies who pay good money for them. Yes, these tiny flying beings discreetly sneak into humans' homes while they sleep and replace their teeth with gold, silver, and when stingy, mere pieces of small colored paper. If Igsby, Pigsby, and Squee were to watch humans playing, how might they describe what they saw to the beings on their home planet? The small humans sit in a large box for hours, which delights the big humans. No doubt they are left wondering, for what purpose do they do these strange, unpredictable rituals? What is accomplished? What is gained? If only we could clone John that way. It'd be very entertaining every Sunday. Activist Adrienne Marie Brown writes about the importance of weaving joy, delight, and play into our everyday lives. She argues that play is subversive, countercultural, in a society governed by white, patriarchal, and capitalist norms. Norms that privilege perfectionism and value our productivity more than our quality of life. Our reading is from Brown's book, Pleasure Activism. I love all the ways that we are sensual. I like to smell good, taste everything yummy, feel how alive skin is, listen to sounds of breath, see the beauty of flesh and bones, laugh uncontrollably, play, feel alive. As I get older, I keep intentionally expanding my capacity for joy and for play so that I can sense more pleasure than capitalism believes in. It is a vital practice to tap into the natural abundance that exists within and between us. Pleasure and play are what our bodies, our human systems are structured for. It is the aliveness and awakening, the gratitude and humility, the joy and celebration of being miraculous. Folks who are rooted in sensing and seeking pleasure shine a light. With their lives, they show us that there is another path that isn't filled only with stress, self-doubt, pain, and suffering. There is a path in which everything is play, learning, practicing, doing things anew. This past August, poet and author Ross Gay was interviewed by a young writer named Lori Yesuf for a blog called The Creative Independent. Gay was describing how he knows the difference between when he's writing because it's a task, something to check off the to-do list, and when he's writing as an act of play. Gay says, if someone asks me to write a review about a book that I wasn't that interested in, and even if they pay me a lot of money, that feels like a task. But if someone asks me to write about a photograph that I thought was amazing and that has filled me to the brim with questions, that is play. When he's immersed in his own curiosity, enjoying his senses, and experimenting with which words to use and why without needing to be practical, he's playing. Maybe hard to believe some days, but for each of us, there was a time in our lives when it was very hard to remove play from anything that we did. There was a time when we understood that we were scribbling color on a page or a sidewalk, not to accomplish something, but because it felt good. Simply because we were curious about how this thing we were making might turn out. At another point in that interview with Ross Gay, Yesuf says to him, there's this tendency in American culture for us to fully equate our identities, our worth, to what we're doing on a daily basis for work. Work has evolved to be an end in and of itself. It's become our primary purpose, our primary identity, our primary role in life. And so she asks, I'm wondering if that's a struggle for you and how you resist that temptation. And I wonder what nourishes you, what fills you up. Gay responds, well, I love teaching. It's really fun to me, hanging out, spending time, working on our imagination. I love gardening and basketball. I have friendships. I get deep into whatever music I'm listening to. And Gay continues, roller skating. Roller skating. At night, I go up here into this empty office building, roller skating. And oh my God, it's so good. The floor is perfect. No one's around. And I'm not necessarily good at it. I'm always falling down, and yet it's so precious to me. Each of us at some point followed our curiosity toward discovery and knew that taking a risk would most often lead to an experience worth having. There was a magical time in our childhood when we didn't run to get our cardio in or because the dog needed to be outside for a little while. There's a time when we moved in beautiful bursts just to see what our bodies could do, just to feel the air move past us, to feel our hearts racing. Our body, our mind, our self. We are, of course, more than a means of production. We're beautifully fashioned for pleasure, for joy, and for play. I suspect that there are still some of you who do not believe me that we were made for play, but maybe you will in a moment, because we are going to play your favorite, Pop Goes the Weasel. Kurt and I will demonstrate bravely, but what we're asking you to do is when you hear the right point in the song, you have multiple choices. You can rise and go pop. You can stay seated and just go pop. Or you can just yell out pop. Those are your three choices. Okay, you ready? John's gonna play it a few times through. Was anyone else a little nervous during that? I was like, this is so simple. If I don't pop on pop, I don't know what'll happen. Thank you, John. So I'm sure thus far you've been thinking, when are we going to learn what kind of animal a horned toad is? So we have arrived at the moment we're going to hear the answers from the games we played in the opening words. So I see on our Facebook page, a number of people said amphibian. I like that. Those of you here in the room, did you have any guesses? I'll repeat them. Reptile? Mythological, I like that. Well, it's making me think I should have phrased the question differently, because I feel like many of you are right to an extent, but it is a lizard. It's a kind of lizard. Did you know that? Now you do. Okay, this is the one I was most looking forward to. So I am going to come down to see what answers you had for rock. What does that acronym stand for? And we'll read some of the ones from online too. Anybody willing to share theirs? Tim, thank you. Wait,
Oh, sorry. Rebellious opticians creating chaos with a K.
excellent. Anybody else? Willing? Mary?
Real old cool cats with a K.
Real old cool cats. I love that. Anybody else? Mick?
Rock on Chinese cassocks.
Thank you. Oh, Catherine.
Running outside courageously and kindly.
Oh, I like that. Bringing that one home to the kids, personally. I like that. Okay, Megan O'Connor. online says, Rockin' Octogenarians Cultivating Kindness. That's awesome. Andos Helm says, really opulent, crazy kangaroos. Lincoln Baxter, realizing our community knows deeper. I like that. That's great. Okay, we will do one more. Let's see. Rightfully ornery, concerned kindred. Susan Carpenter, thank you so much for that part. And finally, what about those two phrases that were on the screen, never odd or even, and draw, oh coward? Did anyone figure out what they had in common? Any guesses? I'm coming to you.
You can read them forwards or backwards.
Yes! They're palindromes. Asher said you can read them forwards and backwards. That's exactly right. Give yourselves a round of applause. That was great.
Good morning. My name's Kurt Merkel. Many of you know me as a sober, cerebral, industrious sophisticate, but I have a playful side as well. I grew up in a small town in Tennessee where my father worked at Oak Ridge National Laboratory as a research engineer. Our house had somewhat of a yin and yang humor environment. Jokes, shall I say, didn't come naturally to my dad, but my mom could always find a way to sprinkle her playful and lovingly silly self into many situations. She loves wordplay, and I remember her story of a college friend that studied genetics using fruit flies. She, however, prefers the formal Latin name, Drosophila melanogaster, because it's much more fun to say. She also made up nicknames for me and my siblings, mine being Curdy Squirreliowitz. And as many kids do, we often had to use our imagination to entertain ourselves. And for reasons I still don't understand, I made up a word that has stayed with me all this time, and that is Bombay, Fiorence, Pawup, Dundia Labi, Ikadui, Saywael, Rotika Fralfry, Imitidu, Dedal Daira, Inha Habi, and Ardo da Vinci. Yes, you heard that right. It's Bombay, Fiorence, Pawup, Dundia Labi, Ikadui, Saywael, Rotika Fralfry, Imitidu, Dedal Daira, Inha Habi, and Ardo da Vinci. So, if you know my silliness or my occasional giggle, then you know Marilyn Merkel. And when you hear my plays on words and many puns, then you have learned that the secret of my dad jokes is my mom. There have been times, though, when the serious of life predominates. I have a particular memory of a time in college when I consciously recognized that I need to conjure my mother's light cheerfulness over my father's sometimes pessimistic perspective. I encountered a friend who innocuously asked me, "How's it going?" I began to list the burdens of my college studies, and I witnessed his smile begin to fade as I realized everyone has their struggles. And to bemoan my own did nothing to alleviate theirs. So I thought, laugh and the world laughs with you, cry and you cry alone. And from then on, when I felt inclined to complain, I deliberately tried to speak of positive things when I could. Even better, funny things. I found that it not only lifted my own spirits, but that of others as well. So fast forward to a few years ago when I came home one Friday night after hanging out with some friends. and I encountered my son Stefan in the kitchen playing with suction cups as we chatted. And this led us to talking about other things that, like suction cups, are curiously satisfying. We laughed as we digressed, imagining throwing a party where there would be stations of curiously satisfying things like magnets and wing nuts and glue for making fingerprints, Q-tips, little springs, bubble wrap, rubber bands, Tic Tacs, balloons, the list goes on. So now you know the brainchild of the little toys you hold this morning. Take these toys with you today as reminders to keep life playful when you can. I very much believe that cheer and playfulness has truly enriched my life with some amazing friendships and loving relationships. It has, as I once told a friend, completely filled my heart with excruciation.
Come on, everybody. I said, let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. But a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say bow, add a B, then I say the name, and then banana, fana, and a bow. And then I say the name again with an F, very plain, and a V, phi, and a mo. Then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. John, 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 Boban, banana, fana, fofan, fee, fi, momon. John. But if the first two letters are ever the same, drop them both, then say the name like a Bob. Bob, drop the B's bow off. Fred, Fred, drop the F's faux red. Mary, Mary, drop the M's mo airy. And that's the only rule that is contrary. All right, let's try. Say bow. Now Kurt with a B. Then banana, fana, fo. Now Kurt with an F. And a V, fi, mo. And Kurt with an M this time. And there isn't any name that we can't rhyme. You ready? Kurt, 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 Bobert, banana, fana, fo, fert, fee, fi, mo, mert. Kurt. Hey, Kristen, 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 Bobriston, banana, fana, fo, friston, fee, fi, mo, mriston. Kristen. Carol, 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 Bo Barrel, banana, fana, fo, feral, fee, fi, mo, merrill. Carol. A little trick with Mick, 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 Bo, Bick, banana, fana, fo, fic, fee, fi, mo, Mick. Mick. Hey, Lewis, 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 Bo, Bouis, banana, fana, fo, fouis, fee, fi, mo, mouis. Lewis. Eve, 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 Bo, Beeve, banana, fana, fo, fee, fee, fi, mo, meave. Eve. The name game.
Tomorrow evening is the last night of Hanukkah. As our Jewish neighbors celebrate the miracle of light in the darkness and the freedom to revel openly in their beliefs and their culture, we wish them and our Jewish members much joy this holiday season. This Saturday afternoon, in the traffic circle, we are going to have a winter celebration. We're going to have crafts. Kids will have a chance to make an ornament or a gift for a loved one. You can visit with Santa. And then we are going to gather around a modest bonfire to sing carols and prepare our hearts for the winter solstice. As we know, one of the most sacred spaces that we create in our society for our children to learn and play is in our schools. So we are sending love to Michigan, to the community deep in grief there after the shooting and deaths of young people. In our own congregation, we hold in our hearts Catherine Covington East and her family as she recovers from surgery. We're sending love to Julie Prentice and her family as she recovers from surgery as well. We continue to hold in our prayers Tawana Wilson Allen, Manny Allen, and their family as Tawana faces a challenging health situation. And we hold in our hearts and in our prayers Neil Sigmund and Mary Ann Lawler and all their family as they navigate Neil's cancer diagnosis. Whatever you carry in your heart today, may you feel held by the love of this community.
Your kind and generous financial contributions sustain this physical and spiritual sanctuary. Thank you.
I invite you to get a little more comfortable where you are. You may want to pull that plaything back out if you have it in a pocket. Breathe more deeply and close your eyes for a time of meditation. Some things you might do if you were feeling silly or your heart was heavy and your spirit in deep need of play. Sit in a sunny spot and color on a blank page with freshly sharpened colored pencils. Put some music on in your headphones. Sit outside and blow bubbles. Play hide and seek with your partner. Finger paint with pudding. Find a trail you've never taken, tuck your phone away, and follow it wherever it goes. Choose a song and write a parody. Decorate your reflection in a mirror using dry erase markers. Eat mashed potatoes or something messy with your hands. Go to a park or your backyard and shuffle through the leaves on the ground, making as much dried, leafy noise as you can. Try making a cake from scratch without consulting any recipes, then eat it. Lay on the couch and listen to your music collection on shuffle, doze off. Doodle. Play with your dog and let your dog take the lead. Make sock puppets with whatever you have on hand, so to speak. Roll down a hill, do a crossword, start a jigsaw puzzle, tickle your brain for an hour. Take all the recycling out of your bin and make a sculpture with masking tape. Crochet, knit, sew, weave, cross-stitch, work with something soft and colorful. Climb a tree. Make paper airplanes and launch them from said tree. Play cards with a friend. Make a collage. Build a pillow fort in your bed and read for pleasure. Think for a moment. With the day stretching out before you and evening waiting just around the bend, how will you enjoy the time you have? May it be so. Now, if you would, we are going to rise in body and or spirit for our closing song. This one is called When the Spirit Says Do. Jen is going to sing that first verse, and then Kurt and I are going to seek you out and say, give us another verb, and then we're going to sing using the verb that you give us, okay? So please rise in body and or spirit.
You got to do when the Spirit says do.
sing.
You've got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You've got to dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you've got to dance, oh Lord. You've got to dance when the Spirit says dance. 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 Stomp. Stomp. You've got to stomp when the Spirit says stomp. You've got to stomp when the Spirit says stomp. And when the Spirit says stomp, you've got to stomp, oh Lord. You've got to stomp when the Spirit says stomp. 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 Swim. You've got to swim when the Spirit says swim. You've got to swim when the Spirit says swim. And when the Spirit says swim, you've got to swim, oh Lord. You've got to swim when the Spirit says swim. 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 Swim.
Last one. Laugh. Okay.
You've got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. You've got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. When the Spirit says laugh, you've got to laugh, oh Lord. You've got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. 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 Spirit says laugh.
Procrastinate.
You've got to procrastinate when the Spirit says procrastinate. You've got to procrastinate when the Spirit says procrastinate. And when the Spirit, you know what, John? We'll finish it. We'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. Cucumbers and Prayers by Hafiz. All day long, the earth shouts, "Gee, thanks." Such an exuberant gee, it starts throwing things as if God were passing by in a parade encouraging rowdy behavior by looking so beautiful that a whole avalanche of mania swoops in. I like this idea of throwing things at God, and especially God making us rowdy. Thus, as soon as Hafiz is out of bed, I start stuffing large sacks with old shoes, cucumbers, and prayers for the upcoming consecrated free-for-all, and who knows what else. we hope you will join us outside in the traffic circle to mingle for a while, enjoy one another's company. We just ask that you not stay and congregate here in the building.